guys, this is Raj. So I'm back with another video. So today I'm gonna talk about 3D printer, and the 3D printer that I have is there, Creality K1 Max. Today I wanted to dive deeply about that printer and tell all the features it comes with, and what are the stuff that I am printing at the moment, and what are all the cool features it has, and the various functionalities and the various use cases that I could use it for. And let's dive into the video where I talk more deeply about it. So here you can see the Creality store page where the printer is listed and the price is given. So what I did was I paid like 750 euros and a couple of kilograms of the filament itself. I got like 3 kg of filament. 1 kg of filament is given free along with the printer. So the other 2 kgs I just bought. And let's talk more about the printer itself. The reason I chose this printer Creality K1 Max, because it has the higher build volume. It is 300 cross 300 cross 300 mm. So I mean, in other words, like 30 cross 30 cross 30 centimeters. It's one of the larger printers that are out there. At the same time, it is one of the fastest printing printers as well. So it prints pretty quick as well, so you can tweak the settings to adjust the speed. So most traditional printers don't do it that fast, or even if they are doing it at a very higher pace, the print quality is not good. I tested the Creality K1 Max. It printed really well actually at a decent speed, even though we will never be printing at 600 millimeters per second. At least you can do like 300 400 confidently to save a lot of time and electricity as well in for almost every print. And I tested a couple of them. So it's like it's not that you set a speed or use the default values all the time. You have to change the values and see what works for you, and also the filament that you own. Currently I'm using the filament from Creality itself, what they gave, Creality Hyper series. So this is the filament actually that I'm using. So this is the finished 1 kg, the empty spool. It's nice that it's not plastic once again, and it's like recyclable materials. And the filament that I'm currently printing is PLA, polylactic acid, which is completely degradable. That's the best part. And let's talk about the other cool features here. It's AI assisted, and there's a camera built in the printer, which I'll show now. Let's go down. Yeah, so these are some of the striking features that are unique for it: high printing speed and the larger build volume, and then AI camera and an AI lidar also is there. So let me explain more. So yeah, because of the high pace, it can print like Benchy is a good example. It can print in 13 minutes. I have never seen a printer that prints a Benchy, this board, which generally most 3D printers first print is to check the quality of the print, because it has a lot of overhangs, arches, domes, and circular cylinders and circles in the middle of a filament, and then also the curves. So people always try to print a Benchy first to kind of see where the printer is and also calibrate it based on that. Then there are also other 3D printing test tools, test prints that are there out there, which I also have tried, and I'm gonna show it as well. And yeah, they are using a ceramic heater. What else? Yeah, so here is a nozzle with a nozzle fan, and then there is a lidar that is next to it. This is the AI lidar. What is the benefit of having a lidar is it basically scans the bed for its level. Whenever the 3D printing bed is like a little bit warped or due to repeated usage, sometimes the printing bed is not always level. So the lidar helps to find what is the shape of the bed itself up to 0.101 point or like 1 micrometer resolution. In that way, it gives you a picture of how warped our bed is, and based on that, it will adjust the filament height and the z-axis, the height of the next layer, so that the print is also not misaligned, misshaped, or warped. Okay, so that's very important. I don't spend like any time in like manually setting anything. It's more like plug and play. I just connect the printer, upload the design or the STL file, and then just print it. So the entire calibration takes like 5 minutes every time. It scans the entire bed, every corner, and then it comes up with that calibrated 3D image. And the next one is AI camera. The cool feature is AI time lapses. Because of this printer, I'm able to record like cool time lapses of whatever I print in like under 20 seconds. It's such a cool feature actually. I really use it all the time. And also the AI camera comes in handy because it detects foreign objects. Suppose you are putting plier or something which you use to remove the support tools and stuff, supports and stuff, and if there is some problem with the print itself and print is getting spoiled or there's a print failure, it detects it and immediately it stops it. So that's the best part of having a camera. And last but not least, the most useful feature according to me is like monitoring my printer from anywhere. I generally go to the university or work in the clinic as a veterinarian. Okay, currently I'm a fourth year veterinary student, so I often go to the clinic for gaining some practical experience at the clinic. So I monitor my printer from my mobile. Basically, I can see what is the temperature of the nozzle, the bed, and also the entire cabin itself, and then what rate the print is happening, how much percentage is finished, how many layers are finished. So it's very 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 useful for me. So I'm really happy. I know this printer costs like $750, but according to me, it is totally worth it because it makes your life so much easier. I don't have to just break my head every time a print finishes and then the nozzle clogs or there is some issue. In Creality K1 Max, it is like one of the best printers that is for suitable for plug and play, and it just delivers as the brand itself delivers. For the most part, it's one of the famous brands out there. Creality and Bamboo Labs, I would say, are like the top notch 3D printer manufacturers at the moment, neck and neck. Every new version that comes up competes with the previous version of each other's company. And what else? Yeah, and this is also one of the cool features of Reality K1 Max, where you can do a self-test calibration, where it will check both the hot bed and the nozzle and all the cooling fans, mainboard cooling fan, auto leveling, everything. It takes like 11 minutes. I do it every time when I clean the rails, the aluminium rails. I use metal grease and then wipe the rails from any gunk or any kind of foreign object that gets stuck to reduce the vibrations and help the printer move smoothly. I do this like every 1 or 2 months or every 700 grams of material usage, plastic usage. I start cleaning it. You can basically see in the metal rails there is a black spot on it. So yeah. So yeah, this is an awesome feature to calibrate it, and then I put the next print. It prints seamlessly. So this is the build plate that they gave along with the printer. It's a smooth plate, as you guys can see. Every time you want to print something, I have to apply glue over it, otherwise sometimes the PLA doesn't stick to the bed. I even increase the temperature to 60 degrees. That's the maximum that I could use for Creality Hyper PLA. So with glue stick it never failed, but without using glue stick it failed like a couple of times. So that was one thing that I learned over using the printer. Currently in my printer I'm using a textured plate. When you use a textured plate, you don't need to use any glue stick or any of those additional features, alcohol wiping, none of those things. The textured plate takes care of everything, because whenever the first layer is put, the layer goes into the crevices of this rough plate or the textured plate, so that it completely adheres to the bed, and at 60 degrees it has a good stickiness with the bed and the model doesn't move. So far I have printed like close to 500 grams with that, and I have faced no problem, no cleaning, none of those things. But with a smooth plate, every time I take it out I have to clean it sometimes because the glue is gone, so I have to clean the residue of the PLA and then apply glue again every time. I have to clean it with alcohol and water, so that's not needed. I wish they gave the textured blade in the first place, but it's okay. Look at the cool stand that I made for it. Here you can put your additional uh, the racks of heating bed. So yeah, this is one of those springs that comes in very handy for using. They also give cloud storage, like a free cloud storage for people who buy these 3D printers, and then you can upload all your print files here locally. And see, these are some of the things that I printed. I uploaded locally, and then these are all the prints that I have done so far. A lot of print I have done, and also you can go into the one of these things and you can download the time lapse of it and you can check it out as well. You can also monitor your printer using the Creality cloud login as well. You can just use the credentials login, and then I can just start monitoring my print at any point. And the next thing is, what it comes with is they recommend Creality print. This is the slicer software for the Creality itself, and I love this software. It's really good enough. But I did a lot of research before choosing which slicer software I should use. Everyone said use Prusa slicer, that is the best one, or Ultimaker's Cura, or Bamboo slicer. And there's another one called Orca slicer. So Orca slicer is based on Bamboo and Prusa slicer, which are both open source slicers. So I went with Orca slicer because it basically eliminated or combined the best features of both Prusa and Bamboo, and also some good features of Creality print itself. The problem with the given Creality print slicer is that it's not advanced. It doesn't have a lot of features that the Orca slicer or the other slicers that I mentioned has. So I had to go with Orca, and let me show you the slicer itself. And this is the Orca slicer, and it looks very similar to Bamboo slicer. Even the Bamboo 3D printing company, whenever Orca slicer community creates a new feature and makes some new advancements and updates, they update it to the Bamboo slicer a little bit late after they do it in Orca. So Orca has an active community, and the developer team is very strong, and they do a lot of advancements here, and it's like very quickly to get all the latest updates. So I really like this, and I can also see the print quality and the features and so many things, like for example tweaking the strength stuff. Let me see. Okay, yeah, so here you get all the different infill for your print. If it is you want cubic, you want like gyroid, you want like 3D honeycomb, there are so many things which you can experiment it. There are so many YouTube videos also. I did a lot of research, like trying to find which is the best infill pattern that ensures rigidity, reliability and robustness for the prints, and I ended up with cubic. And there's also one more thing, adaptive cubic is good or support cubic. Yeah, this cubic was overall kind of good, and it also depends on if you are using some other kind of a 3D design where air needs to pass, then you might look for some other kind of an infill. So it completely depends on what you want. For example, honeycomb is a cool structure, it's very rigid, but the problem is it kind of slows down the print itself. Honeycomb, 3D honeycomb, cross hatch, all those things kind of take a lot of time for the nozzle to go and print every time, and it has to stop a lot of times. So basically the time it takes to print the entire model sometimes increases by an hour or two. So 1 or 2 hours more for a print is like a lot of time actually, because every part, like for a medium sized part, takes like 3 to 4 hours from my experience. So imagine 1 more hour of being extra print time. It's like it's crazy. So yeah, And yeah, so this is the best software I think personally, from also doing all the research and seeing what the community is using. Here you can adjust the speeds of it and all the supports. Like generally, if you're going for a mask, or if you're going for something like an organic design, let's say an anatomical part, since I'm a medical student, let's say I'm printing a heart or something, I go for a tree support. And if I'm printing something like more deterministic, Cartesian, more mathematical, geometric shapes, I go with a normal traditional support like these ones. And I generally choose auto and then adjust the threshold angles to see like what is the best fit for me, and then I just slice and print actually. So here I can go and slice all the prints, and then here I can always export the G code. And the best part is I can go to the device and monitor my print instantaneously. That's the best part. Just like Creality Print helps me to do it, Prusa or Bamboo Slicer will not help me, because this is Creality 3D printer, and those are different manufacturers that provide that software, so they don't have that feature. But Arca has been configured for multiple different companies 3D printers, so it also works for Creality as well. It works so good. I can monitor my print in video live, and also I can see my bed. I can also, one interesting feature I also is like when you print multiple parts, suppose one of the parts is failing, in that case you can exclude that part. That's like a very powerful feature. A couple of times I had failed parts, so this is an example of a one more failed part that I had. So I was able to stop the print for one of these parts that completely failed and ripped apart from the printing bench itself. So yeah, that's a lifesaver for me. Yeah. So I printed a lot of things though. One of the things that I am really proud about is like I fly planes. So this is like my aviation gear. For example, this is a honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant. So what I printed here is I printed a flap module here. This is for Airbus 320. This part where I can change the flaps with an indent at every place. It helps me give that immersive feel that every time I'm changing the flap, it gives me that feel. And there are also different parts where I can make the handle of this engine modules bigger and the speed brakes bigger, chunkier, like a real life Airbus 320 as well. I can make all of those changes as well, but currently I'm doing only the flaps here. I just wanted to see how it works. So here are the samples for other planes. Like for example, this is like a 3-position configuration, and this is like a 5-position configuration, and some more as well. So yeah, and this is the first print I made, the 3D benchy. It took like 14 minutes or 15 minutes, I think. It came inbuilt with the Prusa itself, so I generally wouldn't trust it because they cherry pick it and they adjust the settings so much that like it always performs really well. So never trust the ones that they provide. So I started printing a 3D test, 3D printer test print here. So here you can see the overhang test. Here you can see the difficulties and different objects, cylinders, different shapes it is attempting. And the most important thing that I was more interested is the overhang test, where you can see these arches, right? These arches, for example, it tells you the degrees because it's like a white color filament, you guys cannot read it. So what it says is till 60 degrees it prints perfect. After that from 75 it starts to droop. If you can see here, 75 degrees the printer starts to droop. The same thing happens in this test. Till 70 degrees it's perfect. From 80 it starts to break, you can see here. So we know what is our limitation of a 3D printer, which is very important when you start designing your own parts. When you want to do put additional supports to your parts, it's very essential to know what your printer can do or get away with without having any supports, or without having any kind of design changes. So it's very important to know which is your breaking point for your printer. And I did like a couple of parts, like a laptop stand. This is like a laptop stand. Generally you can remove it and put it in your laptop. It's just some small stuff. And because I'm a medical student, I was curious about anatomy and stuff, so I printed a heart actually. I am not sure if you guys can see here, if it is in focus. Let me, I guess now it's in focus. So yeah, so you can see all the veins and stuff. Because it's white filament, it's really hard to see, but it came out so well. And I used the tree supports. I'll show you a time lapse of all the things that I printed, and then I ordered a bunch of key rings from AliExpress, and then I connected it, so it becomes like a cool product at this point. And yeah, this is one of those cool prints that I did, like a simple one, with a shopping cart symbol. In Europe, when you go to supermarkets, when you want to take the trolley, the big ones, you need to put a coin, a euro or a zloty. So this is like a thing that replaces that coin. So you just put it in, and then you can just use the trolley for free, and just you can put a key ring inside it and connect it to your car keys or whatever, you know. It's so easy to carry, lightweight, and yeah, cheap to make, all of those things. I made a bunch of smartphone stands, like a cat themed ones, and then hippopotamus themed ones. These are like bunch of small designs where I'm getting to understand my printer. So this print is very important for me, or very special to me, because this was the first print where I tweaked the speed settings and also put a lot of glue in the bed, and also I leveled it, calibrated it. Before that I was getting a lot of print failures. From this print onwards, I was able to achieve almost all the prints successfully. And yeah, so this was the first thing that print came out really well. And another thing is, this is like a clamp that I made for my printer. Whenever you are printing in a PLA filament, which I am printing at this point, the entire temperature inside the cabin of the 3D printer should not exceed 30 degrees. If it exceeds, if it gets really warm in there, the print starts to pop from the bed in the middle of the print itself. So in that case, the entire print fails. So I can lift my glass, and then I can put one of these clamps there. It's really sturdy. I have put a lot of infill and added strength to it so that it doesn't break. So it's very rigid though actually. If you guys can if you guys are near me, I mean if you guys can touch it, you will see how strong the material is. PLA is pretty strong actually. Yeah. And one of the things that I really wanted to show here is all the supports, all the white color pieces that you can see in my 3D printer. These are all the parts that did not come with the printer itself. These are the parts that I have made as an upgrade to my current printer. That's the best fun part of 3D printing. Like you can upgrade your own printer, and the printer itself upgrades itself by printing parts for itself. Now I'll show all the timelines of some of the stuff that I have printed, which helped the entire upgrade of the 3D printer. And here I am showing some images of how the print looked like when it was done in the printer itself. And there are a couple of videos that I wanted to play. And yeah, this was the first. See how the UI looks like. The UI is very intuitive here. It will show you the time left, how much percentage it's done, 16% done, how much time is remaining, and then it will also tell the name of the print itself, and then all the temperature parameters, and you can pause the printer, completely stop it, increase the fan speed, adjust the lighting, and so on and so forth. It's very useful. The cart for the supermarket thing, the laptop stands are two different sizes for different variants of the laptop, and some keychains. And so this is how it looks in the light. It came out really well though. I was really impressed. It was pretty smooth and it was like flawless actually, according to me. Very biased, but I really enjoyed the quality of the print here. And yeah, so this is what I wanted to show you, all the upgrades that I made for the printer, which you guys saw there. So these are the corners, and then these are the four sides, and then these are the slats that go into these slots basically, and then it basically helps in ventilation. This entire print took like 12 hours I think, but it was really worth it. I made sure I put a lot of filament and strength to it, and also I chose white color here because my printer itself is darker in color. It's a good contrast for it, and it came out so nicely though in the entire print. But I just have to bend the print, but all of them popped out so easily. The quality of the print material, the filament was very good, so hats off to Creality Hyperprint. And yeah, it looks so good actually. It took 12 hours. This is the longest print I was doing at that time, so I was so nervous what if the print fails anywhere in the middle, but it did not. It just went through cleanly. So once I put all the parts together, you can see here the name of the printer. I put the glass on top and then all the slats into the slots, and then you can see here. And yeah, now if you can see here, this is how it looks with all the parts set in. And then I can lift this glass and put the clamps that I was talking about at that time for additional cooling if needed. I generally go with this clamping bar because it's better to be safe than sorry. So yeah, so the different views I took the photo from, it looks very nice according to me. A good color, contrasting color. And the next important part is to change the hinge actually. If you guys see my printer, this is the front door of the printer. This is where the hinge screws are. The basic design of the printer from the factory is a little bit flawed, that it could move only 90 degrees and not beyond it. Because of that, there's a lot of functional issues. Whenever you take the print bed, a heat bed out of the printing chamber, it always hits the glass. Some of the people in the online community have told they broke the glass instantly in the first week itself. There's also a famous video, so you guys can check it out. That design was not really good, so I had to go and remove these hinges manually, and then here are the screws that I had to remove. And yeah, I made all of these parts actually in one print with these smaller parts as well, and then I ordered a bunch of screws in AliExpress, and then along with some washers. And this is like a lever that was screwdriver that was provided by the Creality themselves. Once I put them together, it looks like this, and I connected all the screws together. Now it was able to move almost 270 degrees, or complete 280 I guess maximum it can go. It can go till the end of the side panels, and then you can also attach a magnet there to make it stick to the end as well. We can do a lot of things actually here. And these are the gear mechanisms that was in the gear in the design itself, which I took from printables. It's an open source design. Thank you so much to the creator. The design is so awesome. The gears work so good actually. It's so pretty to see also. And I made another the glass holder from the side as well. Sometimes I remove the glass and put it in the side so that I don't have to use the clamp all the time. So in that way I can store the glass separately without breaking it, because these are glass parts, they break very easily or crack, so it's better to put them on the side. And yeah, and then I made a face plate for the touch screen, and then I made a USB connector thingy, like to just prevent it from dust getting inside. So yeah, so these are the cool things that I made. This is the final look of my printer. I'm really happy about like the way it has come. I think personally I really love it. And here you can see it's written 300 cross 300 cross 300 built volume K1 max. Such a beautiful printer though, and every time it prints it's like so nice to watch it printing, you know. You just create a design or you just get a design from online and then you just print it. After a couple of hours it's just there as a physical part, you know, at a very high resolution and a decent speed. So yeah, and this is my girlfriend. I just wanted to make a bunch of keychains. This is myself. I just made a few of them. Yeah. And let me show some time lapses. Which one should I show? Let me show the benchy first. Yeah. It's very beautiful to watch those time lapses though. Yeah, this is the one. And let me show the heart where I'm using a tree support here. So this is the heart itself, and then the tree supports are coming here, and after the print you just remove the supports. It just breaks off from the print. See, I made 4 of them. And this is a good one as well, where I made the laptop stands and the fox keychain and then the impossible table, a part that is needed for building a interesting design that I saw online. And you can see here I have applied glue all over the place on the printing bed itself. And yeah, so this is the first time I'm using the textured bed here. If you guys can see, you're gonna, it came out so good though. Once the print is finished, you just have to bend the board a bit, it just pops off so easily. I don't have to struggle with it at all. And one more, the keychains that I made for the smartphone stand. So those are the, this is the first one where I have applied the glue all over. Yeah, this is the hinge thing that all came in the single print though. If you guys can see, this entire hinge came as a single part. I just have to move it and it starts working. That's all. It's so crazy though. It made me so happy to print this, and then all these parts come alive, you know. It just removed from the blade and I bent it, it just starts working instantly. And hang test. So this is the one that I was showing you, like where you can see the print starts to fail at extreme angles. So here you guys can see. So it did all of these bottom portions really well. It's a good kind of stress test to the printer. So it starts drooping here. And the 80th layer, you guys can see it starts failing a bit here. So that's it guys. So I made this a long video. I guess it's like almost close to 40 minutes I think. I really enjoyed making this video. I hope it was not boring. It was so enjoyable for me to make it, because this is not just any other gadget. it just sits there and collects dust. It starts making new stuff, it's a very cool hobby to do. So I'll keep on posting new tips and tricks and tutorials about 3D printing and how to get better. Maybe one day you guys can have one of those 3D printers and you guys will have a lot of fun doing printing stuff, making ideas turn into reality. And see you guys, bye.